This is Quiet Conversations with Jada Raquel. Shh. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Quiet Conversations podcast. My name is Jada Raquel. Thank you so much for joining back, for coming back. Girl, this is season 3. Who would have thought? Child. Apologies for me being MIA. I have been getting adjusted to a new schedule. I have been super tired, super exhausted, but here I am today recording this podcast for y'all, period. So again, apologies for the delay. We haven't spoken since November. Here we are, March 7th, first week of March. Again, thank you so much for listening while I've been MIA. Reposting, liking, commenting, sharing the pod while we've been on a hiatus. Thank you so much. I am super grateful. And thank you for everyone that is new, that's listening and watching on YouTube, listening on audio platforms and watching on YouTube for the first time. I am super grateful for you. Thank you so much. And I hope you stay. I hope you like the pod. I hope you like the topics that we discuss. So let's get into the episode. Y'all know I always got my notebook, but I got my paper now. I'm printed it out. Your girl's prepared per usual. So let's get into a life update. So I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I've been a little hypocritical. When I dropped the last season of season 2. I was telling everybody, do your goals, make your vision board, yada yada yada, like I always do. And I didn't do that. I'm not gonna lie. Every 6 months, I create new goals, print out pictures, and do my vision board. But I just was not feeling it this year. I don't know what it was. I don't know if I was stuck. I don't feel like I was stuck, but eventually I realized that God was just telling me to sit down. Girl, sit down and be grateful for where you are. Be thankful and just appreciate the goals that you have achieved thus far. Like, girl, I got a new job. I started the pod and a whole bunch of other goals that I prayed for a year ago that now I'm sitting in today. And he just told me to, girl, relax. Just appreciate it. And that's what I've been doing. I've been appreciating it. I've been slowly but surely trying to figure out what direction I want my life to go. And while I'm sitting in my gratitude. And I'm still trying to figure that out. Still trying to figure out if I want to go back to school just because my job will pay for it. I'm not really sure. I don't really know. But my quote of the year, even though I didn't do a vision board or set goals, my quote of the year is act like it. So I'm acting like I know who I am, which I do. Don't get it twisted. Okay. Acting like I know who I am. Acting like I know that what God has planned for me is what he has planned for me. And that's just what it is. I'm just going to have to be grateful and faithful and just hold it down and just see where life takes me. So yeah, that's my little life update. The topic today is how to have clear boundaries early within all of your relationships and your environments. So if that is something that is interesting to you, we're going to get into the parts right after this. But if it's not, just go catch up on other episodes or just wait till episode 2. Yeah. So let's get into parts 1 through 3. So part 1 is everything needs to be analyzed. Part 2 is never let someone play with you twice. And part 3 is how to. Let's get into the story time. So I remember I was reading something somewhere that said, if you dislike the way someone treats you within a relationship, it's best to change that behavior early on within a relationship. So for example, if you're with your girlfriends or if you're with your partner and he calls you out your name or calls you like, bitch, you crazy, or like, girl, you stupid. Let's use girl, you stupid. Girl, you stupid. Girl, you stupid. Girl, you stupid. If you don't like it, or sometimes you don't know if you don't like something, but if you don't like it, you should stop that right early on in a relationship, right? When I was reading what I was reading, it was saying that when you set certain boundaries early within a relationship, it's easier for people to change that behavior quickly. But if you wait years later down the line, it's harder for people to change that behavior because they get used to it. They also compared it to a child that's misbehaving. Children don't know, obviously, because they're children, they don't know when something is wrong. When they do something, they don't know if it's wrong or right. So if you don't correct them the first time and let them know, hey, this is something that you shouldn't do because XYZ, they're going to keep doing it if you don't correct them the first time because they don't know. They compared it to that, how children react to certain things, and know now not to do it going further. Really stuck with me, like that paragraph, page, whatever. It really stuck to me. And then it had me thinking about how I act in my relationships. Like if I set clear boundaries in all of my relationships, romantic, familial, platonic, like do I set clear boundaries with the people in my life to make sure that I'm okay with how they treat me, and vice versa? Like, do people in my life set clear boundaries with me to make sure that I'm treating them the way that they want to be treated? So that's what we're talking about today. I hope you stay until the end. We have a little bit of surprises and segments that are new to the pod, like a life update and quiet shuffle. So stick to the end and let's get into the episode. So everything starts with you, right? Everything starts with you, and I recommend a self-assessment of things that you do and don't like about yourself and the steps you'll do to become better for yourself. I said in a previous episode that when you're going through life and thinking about life, I think it's best to think about present you, like where you are right now, and future you, what future you looks like, what future you will have, how future you acts, etc., right? I said all of those things because I feel like it's really smart to think about yourself in the future so you can change things that you don't like in the present. Stick with me, right? So for example, when it comes to boundaries, if you do a self-assessment and realize like, hey, I don't like the fact that I don't speak up for myself. I don't like the fact that people tend to walk all over me. I'm going to start speaking up for myself in situations. I'm going to start having more respect for myself if people disrespect me, right? I'm gonna tell you a quick story time about when I realized that I wasn't speaking up for myself. So I was at a barbecue. It was summertime, and I was sitting on the step with my friend at the time, and somebody in the vicinity said something funny about someone else, right? I laughed, and my laugh is very, girl, like calm down. Like I'm very dramatic. So like I laughed because I thought it was funny. And the person that the joke was directed to turned to me and said, what's so funny? Or whatever they said, what's so funny? And I don't really remember what they said. And I said nothing. I was mute because I was just like, damn, like I didn't realize that someone was about to turn, like I didn't realize that this was going to be directed to me. I didn't realize that someone was going to press me because of, as he should though, because Jada, what the, girl, what you laughing at? It's funny, right? And I didn't like how I felt. My friend at the time, she ended up defending me, saying like, no, she could laugh if she wants to, whatever. But I was stuck, child, frozen. But after that day, I realized I never want to ever feel like that again. Like I never want to be embarrassed of the fact like I didn't step up for myself, mind you. I didn't step up for myself. I didn't say anything. I was just quiet the entire time, and someone else had to come to my defense. That's ridiculous. So I say all that to say, after that situation happened to me, I don't want to say I became like a bulldog, but like I made sure that I was able to articulate and defend myself in any and every situation. I feel like that's why now I'm very, I don't want to say I'm argumentative, but I'm very confrontational. So like if there's a situation that happens somewhere, somehow, let's talk about it. Let's get it out the way. Let's clear the air because let's talk about it. We're adults, we're grown, let's figure it out. You get what I'm saying? So I feel like that kind of that's an example of doing a self-assessment of myself and saying, wow, like, I don't like the way that felt. I never want to go through that again. I don't want my future self to not defend herself, not stick up for herself, not be able to talk when it needs to be. Girl, I was mute, child. Child, I was so quiet. I was so quiet. Like, that's about to piss me off. Next. What do boundaries look like for yourself? What kind of boundaries do you feel like you need to set for yourself? And people always feel like boundaries are for other people. No, boundaries are for you, sweetheart. Like, boundaries are for you. Basically, little promises to yourself that hold, I don't want to say hold you accountable, but that you can keep yourself accountable for. I don't talk to anyone before 12 p.m. The mornings are for me. I will talk to everybody else on my phone after 12 p.m. That's a boundary that I set for myself. Those are what boundaries are. Boundaries aren't you telling someone, hey, you can't call me at 10 a.m. You can't call me before 12 p.m. What? Excuse me? I could do anything that I want to do. They could do anything that they want to do. Boundaries are for you. If someone reaches out to you before 12 p.m., your boundary is not answering because you set that for yourself. And then if they confront you about it and say, hey, like, I realize that anytime I text you in the morning, you don't answer, you can then express to them, yeah, I don't really talk to people before 12 p.m. That's just a thing that I do. I like to keep my mornings to myself. That's it. Clear, concise answer. You don't have to go into more detail. You don't have to overly explain yourself. That's what boundaries look like. So while doing your self-assessment, I think it's a good idea to figure out what it is that you want for yourself, for your future self. How is it that you want to be perceived? How is it that you want to operate and maneuver in the world? You get what I'm saying? So those are just examples of ways that you can set boundaries for yourself. Not set boundaries for yourself, but ways that you can figure out what boundaries you want to set for yourself, or if you want to set boundaries at all. But that's just an example. Also, think about, how do you want to be perceived in your relationships? And I'm not going to go too much in detail, but how do you want to be perceived in your relationships? Do you want to be known as someone that's like, you know what, so-and-so has really good boundaries, like, I really respect her space? Because I realize that, like, when you have boundaries with yourself, people eventually have to adjust to you, not in a negative way. It's just like, or not a this is just how she is kind of situation. It's just they respect the fact that you have boundaries, and it's either they respect them or you don't. You get what I'm saying? So I think when you have clear boundaries, like, people's perception of you, they either respect it or they don't. And when they do respect it, they do go along with the boundaries that you have for yourself. And they also ask a lot of questions on, like, is this disrespectful to you? Like, is this okay with you? Like, they always kind of check in. So I think it's a good idea to, like, think about boundaries that you feel like you need to set for yourself, and then, like, just be a little lighthearted when you're telling people, like, hey, this is just a boundary for me, etc., etc. And it's either that they're going to stay in your life or they're not, to respect your boundaries. So let's get into part 2, which is never let someone play with you twice. Like I said in part 1, your boundaries are for you. So it's very important that you are 10 toes down behind the boundaries that you set for yourself with people you do and don't know, people that are in your life and people that you are meeting for the first time. You know why? Because never let people play with you twice. You get what I'm saying? The reason why I say that is because people treat you how they feel about you. That's going back on how you feel like you're viewed and perceived in relationships. If someone views you as someone that people could walk all over or talk to, however, if they're not a kind person, they're going to walk all over you. They're going to talk to you, however, they might bully you a little bit, because that's how they view you. You don't stand up for yourself. You don't have any clear boundaries. You don't respect yourself in that way. You need to be very clear with yourself on what you will and will not tolerate. People treat you how they view you, and also how you train them to. Message. But I did see something on my paper that says what you tolerate within relationships determine how you view yourself and how you want others to treat you. How do you view yourself? When you look in the mirror, when you do a self-test of who you are, in this current moment, how do you view yourself? Do you view yourself as a strong, independent person? Do you view yourself as someone that is vocal? Do you view yourself that is someone that isn't shy? How do you view yourself? And if that is something that you want to change, what do you want to change about yourself? It's simple. If you want to have clear boundaries, you need to make sure that you know exactly who you are, what exactly you're going for, and what you're going to tolerate in relationships. It really is that simple. It's probably hard to set boundaries within your relationships if you never had boundaries before, but choose your heart. Would you rather not have boundaries and be constantly disrespected, or would you rather have clear, concise, cut boundaries and have people in your life that respect those boundaries? Choose your heart. Are you going to be uncomfortable for the rest of your life or comfortable for a moment? Ooh! I ate that up. I ain't gonna lie. Like, who do you see yourself as? How does your future self act? How does your future self maneuver in the world? Are you a vocal person that shoulders back, people can see like you exude confidence, you don't tolerate no bullshit, you don't even let things get you out of character? Because why would I? My future self does not, I don't raise my voice, argue with you. For what? For what? That goes back to my episode when I spoke about like stooping down to people's level. If that's a boundary that you don't want to have, if you want to have for yourself, set it. Be intentional behind it. Like, and stand 10 toes down behind the boundaries that you set for yourself. Hello? Are y'all listening? Stand 10 toes down behind the boundaries that you set for yourself, because if not, people might eat you up and spit you back out. This world is tough. You get what I'm saying? And you need to be able to walk with intention, with your shoulders back, your head held high, and have boundaries with people in your life so that you can have a full life. So you're not overly extending yourself. So you're not filling up everyone else's cup and not filling up your own. Make sure that you set clear boundaries, because you're all you got, Pookie. You're all you got. And make sure you set those boundaries so people don't play with you twice. Like, boundaries are so important so people know how to treat you. They're important for yourself so people know how to treat you. People know how to handle you. You get what I'm saying? Because if you don't, they are going to eat you up and spit you right back out. And you need to make sure that you are being very intentional about the type of person that you want to be and the type of person you want to be in the future, so that people know how to respect you moving forward. Respect is not given, it's earned, right? So if you don't have respect for yourself, how you expect other people to respect you? If you don't have any self-confidence, how do you think people are going to view you? Shoulders back, head held high, and just confident. Also, like I think I said this in previous episode, confidence is something that is an illusion. Don't sweat. Don't show it. Don't let people see you sweat. Walk with confidence, have clear boundaries, and just figure out who it is that you want to be in the world. I think it's also harder to enforce boundaries later on in older relationships. I think it's hard because it could be uncomfortable for you and that person. People get comfortable, like the person that you're in, you have that relationship with, they get used to you behaving and acting a certain way. And also, people are people pleasers and they have a fear of conflict. So like I said previously, I'm very confrontational. If I feel like I want to have a conversation with someone or about something, I'm going to do so. Everyone's like that, and that's perfectly fine. Like, you don't have to be not everyone's confrontational, but the longer your relationship goes without boundaries, the harder it is to set them. I'm gonna give you an example. For example, if you're in a 5-year relationship and your partner or your friend is always calling you stupid. Hey, girl, you stupid. Oh, you stupid. You stupid. You stupid. You stupid. And eventually down the line, you start to realize, like, damn, I actually don't like being called out my name. I don't like being called stupid. I'm not stupid. You get what I'm saying? Hey, I don't like when you call me stupid. Can you stop? That's a boundary. That's great. But within older relationships, people will tend to say, you're switching up, or we always do that, or like, why are you acting brand new, etc., etc., etc. Stand 10 toes down behind your boundaries, like I said. If they view you as switching up or not fun anymore, etc., etc., that's okay. You also have to understand, in older relationships, people also have to get used to your new boundary. Give them some time to get used to that. Give them a little grace. You get what I'm saying? If I've been calling you stupid for 5 years and you tell me one day that you don't like it no more, it's going to take me a little to remember not to call you stupid. You get what I'm saying? So give people a little bit of grace. Just remind them every time, hey, remember I told you I don't like that anymore. And like after a week or two, you should be over that word. Like, you should be over the word stupid. We should be moving on to you calling me pretty or girl, you funny or whatever, whatever, whatever. You get what I'm saying? And if people in your relationships cannot respect your new boundaries, they don't love you. They don't love you. They don't respect you. And it's time for you to move on from that relationship, whether it be platonic, familial, or romantic. If people cannot respect your boundaries, whether they're new or old, those are not your people. Get out of that relationship. Find more people that are going to respect your boundary. It's just that simple. If people do not respect your boundaries, they are not your people. Let's get into part 3. Part 3 is how to. So we're discussing like how to set boundaries, what do boundaries and standards look like, and no is a full sentence. So what do boundaries and standards look like? There are different types of boundaries, and these are just a few that I have here, but there are obviously a whole bunch more. There are time, emotional, work, relationship, and digital is what I have here. So time, protecting your schedule. Someone that's always late, like I said previously in the episode, if someone is always late, oh my God, that is such a pet peeve. Like, we are grown. The fact that you're 45 minutes late to something that I told you about in advance is insane. God forbid something happened that's different. If something happened, obviously things come up. We cannot change what comes up. But like, if you're just running late because, girl, you had to do your hair or this, that, and the third, don't piss me off. You knew what time we had to be somewhere. You're an adult. Plan in advance to get ready. You get what I'm saying? Like, plan your time accordingly so you can show up on time. Like, I feel like a lot of people make showing up late and showing fashionably late their personality. Child, I don't have time for that. If we made dinner plans for 6 and you show up at 7, I'm gone. Gone. I don't have time. I don't have time. Especially if you don't have clear communication. You're not keeping me updated. Hey, something happened to my car. I'm fixing this. I'm fixing that. I'll be there shortly. If there's like no communication, oh girl, you know I'm always late. Oh babe, we can't be friends. We can't. We can't. Don't piss me off. Emotional. Not carrying other people's emotions. I had to learn this. I view myself as someone that is like very self-aware. So when it comes to like dissecting emotions and like trying to like be calm in certain situations, like I think I am a good person. I'm a person that does that well. I think it's very easy for me to see both sides of a situation, right? It's very easy for me to like dissect the situation and be like, well, I can see why this person thought that. I can see why this person does that. And which I'm starting to have a boundary of, like, it's very easy for me to like I don't want to say give people advice, but people will come to me like, hey, like, what do you think I should do? Or, hey, this is what's going on in my life. And I would like give advice, sometimes unsolicited advice. And a boundary that I started to set for myself is, I am not your therapist. I'm a friend that is going to be there for you if you need me and when you need me. Don't get me wrong. But like, I'm not here to like every single problem you're asking me what you think I should do. Every single situation, what do you think I should do? Every single fight you have with somebody, I'm like mending the relationship. I'm getting this side, I'm getting that side, I'm getting y'all together. I am not a licensed therapist, and if I am, you should be paying me. Right? Like that was a boundary that I had to set for myself and realize and learn that everyone in my life are adults. If They need advice, they would ask me. If they just wanted to talk, they would tell me. If they need help with a situation, they could ask me if I can help, and I can also say, hey, I don't think I'm right. I think you should find somebody else to kind of help you figure this out. I'm not the person for you. So that's a boundary that I've been learning for myself this year, not carrying other people's emotions, because like I feel so much, like I be feeling bad, like damn, like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to get out of that because I just can't, like mentally, that is just so draining. And I had to like pull back a lot from like how I maneuver certain relationships in my life, because I realized they were strenuous on my mental health and just like my overall health, because child, I'm tired. I don't want to figure out that situation for you right now. I actually want to go take a nap. So you figure it out. Google it or talk to God. So another boundary is work, not overextending yourself. I am very much if it's not on my roles and responsibilities, I'm not doing it type of person. I feel like a lot of times when you have a 9 to 5 or whatever you do for a living, when you work, like people try to like add certain things onto your plate because they know that you could do it, or like they try to test your patience, test your temperature to see if you could do it, and then they continuously ask you to do it. No, which is a full sentence, might I ask. No, I'm not doing it. You do it. That's a full sentence. Nothing needs to go into that further. When you're in corporate, it's a little, hey, I don't think that I have the bandwidth. I don't think I have the bandwidth today to do it on my schedule. Can you handle? Thanks. And moving forward. Gotta play the game, girl. You gotta play the game. You handle your role and the responsibilities of your role, and that's it. Relationships, respecting yourself and making sure your space is respected. Your space, this is your space, and making sure you feel respected in all aspects of relationships. But again, like I was saying earlier in the episode, all of those boundaries are for you. The boundaries that you set for yourself are for you, and you set the tone of how people treat you. If people treat you a certain way in a relationship, you can have clear boundaries, and that might change how they treat you in those relationships. You get what I'm saying? You have the power to you always have the power. When you have boundaries, you have a one up, and when you don't have boundaries, you take an L. You get what I'm saying? So it's like when you have clear cut boundaries with yourself, people, what is that word? Conform? I think the word is conform. They kind of conform to your boundaries, and if they do, they love you, and if they don't, they are not for you. And that is just that simple. And the last one is digital and social media boundaries. Child, I need this for myself, but like trying not to go on social media, setting a boundary or a limit on how much time you spend on social media, things that you like feed into on social media. Like, for example, I don't follow the Shade Room. I don't follow any of those gossip pages. I follow a lot of travel content. I follow a lot of podcasters that I listen to or don't listen to. I follow a lot of people that I just enjoy their content creatively. I follow a lot of my girly pops that do lifestyle content on YouTube, fashion. Oh my God. Like I follow a lot of those pages, and I just follow people that I've known in the past, currently, or before. You know what I'm saying? And that's really my news feed. My TikTok is a hot ass mess, but it is also filled with travel and stuff like that. Nothing that I feel like is low vibrational. So during the week, I try not to go on social media before 9 a.m. And because I'm so busy in the morning, it helps a lot. So to fill that gap, like I'm reading, also take a nap while I'm coming into work in the morning. So it kind of fills that gap. And by the time I eat breakfast at work, I drink my tea, I drink my water, I have my fruit for the day, it's already like 9, 10 o'clock, and I haven't touched my phone. And if I don't feel the need to, I don't until like 12 o'clock until my lunch. So having boundaries in all those different aspects of your life, I feel like is a good idea. So like I said, do self-assessment and figure out certain things that you want to improve on in your life and how you can set boundaries with yourself and for yourself so you can be a better version of yourself in the future. I said really quickly that no is a full sentence. I need you to understand that. No. Period. You don't have to overly explain yourself. You don't have to go into detail if you do not want to. If the answer is no, it's no, and that's just what it is. It's hard to do in the beginning, but people do it to you all the time, don't they? Why can't you do it to other people? If you don't feel like doing something, just say no. Try it. Actually, I have a challenge for you right here. I challenge you this week to set a boundary for yourself. It can be anything, but make sure you're being respectful, clear, and stern with what you set for yourself. Even if it's the word no. I challenge myself this week to say no. Full sentence. No explanation. But kind. With a smile. So thank you guys so much for listening to the episode. We are going to get into Quiet Shuffle, which is a quick questionnaire segment that I thought would be cute and cool for the podcast. So I have 2 questions here for myself. One is planned and one is random. So the planned question is, what part of my personality do people misunderstand the most? I think the part of my personality that people misunderstand the most is the fact that I'm very expressive and very passionate about anything. We could be talking about the weather and I'm like, oh my God, the sky is so blue, right? And because I'm so expressive, so animated, and so passionate, people view that as aggressive. So people think I come across as rude or confrontational or mean a little bit, and I'm like, no, I'm just really passionate about whatever we're talking about. I'm really animated. I talk with my hands, so people get thrown off too. So I feel that could kind of make people look at me like I'm crazy sometimes. But yeah, that's a part of my personality that I do feel like people misunderstand the most. And the second question is, what belief about yourself took the longest to unlearn? Oh, child. Trauma. A lot of people in my family used to call me white girl. I used to have slow moments. Jada, you're having a blonde moment all the time, right? And eventually I started to believe that. I started to believe damn, am I dumb? Am I not intelligent? Child, I am college educated. I am intelligent in the way that I need to see fit. I am not good at math. That's cool. But I am an intelligent Black woman. And it took a while for me to unlearn that and get out of that thought process. Oh my God, this is TMI. But yeah, that's real. A lot of people in my family used to call me white girl. You know what I'm saying? She's having a blonde moment. And yeah, it took me a while to be girl, you are not dumb. You know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly what you want. You could be intelligent in your own way. So I am college educated, which means I am intelligent. Okay? Period. Thank you guys so much for listening to the first episode, Set Your Standard, of the season 3 of the Quiet Conversations podcast. My name is Jada Raquel. Please like, comment, and subscribe on YouTube, on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts and this podcast. Please support, please rate, please download, please please do all of the things. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for joining. I am so grateful for you. Thank you for coming back for season 3. I can't believe I have a 3rd season of my own podcast. That's crazy. And hopefully we get picked up by a network soon, y'all. Speaking that into existence. Thank you so much, guys. My name is Jada Raquel, and see you next time. Bye. The Quiet Conversations podcast is hosted, directed, produced, written, and edited by Jada Raquel.